are on the Country versus Metal podcast with Drew Harakal and Bill Corbin. How are you guys?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm out here up north, cold.
Yeah, it's actually not to rub it in, but it's like beautiful. It's 72 right here in Portland.
Yeah, I do miss the weather down there. It was nice being down there. It's crazy how it's already December. It's
This year flew by.
Yeah.
Just evaporated.
Especially since the meetup too.
Oh,
Yeah, that was fun. I had a great time seeing everybody.
I had a great time. I maybe had too much fun. I was ruined for a couple days.
Really?
Working the whole time.
I don't know how you did it. I was
Bro.
I was good. I made sure I remembered everything. I kept it easy because I don't know if Drew knows. I've never seen Mickey in the Motor Cars live. I've hung out with Pablo. Obviously, I didn't even realize you were going to be there, and I was, Gary, and I was so excited to finally see him. They were coming around where I live, and I had my regular, just tailgate. I don't even remember Bill being there because
yeah.
It blew my mind. I was like, she was like, there was this big guy at the bar like staring at you, and she was like, I told him to like leave us alone or something, and I was like, big guy, what do you look like? And she's like, yeah, big dude, man. And I was like, oh, Bill, that has to be Bill. She was like, yeah, he was up on. I look back and he's on stage, and I was like, oh no, that just seals the deal. I'm like, did I talk to him? And she's like, no. And I'm like, thank God.
I thought I did something wrong. We were out in Maryland, and I was not expecting to know anybody there. And I'm like, I got my Saturday drink ticket, and I'm like going up to the bar. I'm like, I swear to God, that's Patrick. And I was like, well, we're not that far from here. But like, he kept like moving his back to me. It was like clearly like almost like he was trying to avoid me. I was like, I had to text Steve and be like, Steve, is Patrick at this motocross show? Because like, I'm pretty sure that's him, but I'm also pretty blind. My contacts suck. Like, and so I was like, I don't know. And like, I've done it before where you go up to somebody like, hey, what's up? Oh, you're not who I thought you were. And so I didn't want to do that. And then afterwards, you were gone. And come to find out, pre-gamed a little too hard, maybe.
Yeah, thank God I got out. Thank God I got out of there because I woke up and I'm like, where am I? What happened? Oh no! Because at first I was thinking when she said big guy, I was like, oh, Pablo, thank God, and then she described like big guy. I was like,
it sounded like I was trying to like fuck you up or something like that.
She thought it was a bouncer. She's like, oh, the bouncer came up and staring at you. But no, that and I still haven't seen him. And I love their music.
Well, that was a fun night. That's a cool room. It sounded really good.
Oh, thank God for that place.
Yeah.
It's like you said, like when you walk in, you're like, ooh, how are the acoustics going to be in there? Because it looked like it'd be like a big boomy room. Yeah. But it sounds fantastic. It's one of the few venues where I don't feel like I need to have my earplugs in.
The sound crew was incredible. Like they know that room, that stage, the PA was fantastic. It was one of those rooms that you could do like singer-songwriter stuff and it sounds good, but you could be a big rock band and sound good.
Oh, okay.
Like that was like the type of room we always were trying to find with American Aquarium.
I was going to say, it sounds like American Aquarium.
Yeah. Like the Ridgely Theater. I don't know why more bands don't do the Ridgely Theater. But,
that's true.
It's intimate enough, but can handle like a full rock show.
Yeah.
Production and just crowd noise.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Oh, yeah. And another cool moment I had on TikTok was just randomly a video popped up and I said, oh, it's Fox. It's Fox from Dexter and the Moonrocks in the shower promoting a song. It was Drew. And I had no idea. I was like, whoa. And I'm like, who? And I saw the name and I was like, interesting. Because I didn't know you were releasing any. And it had like their marketing, which I love. And it does so well. and I hope it's doing well for you. He'd say like, welcome to the, and the other one, welcome to the sad side of TikTok.
Yeah, I caught their vibe a bit, definitely on that series of little shorts that I did. Just depressing, sad music makes me happy. So
yeah,
representative.
Their marketing is fantastic of how they just market their songs. It's like I remember they were like, "Oh yeah, you have a lot of followers," and now it's like, "No, you have all the followers compared to me." Like they
had a bunch of number ones on alt radio last week.
I saw that. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. I also heard the other day they've never opened for anybody.
Never.
They've only ever headline shows.
Really?
Because they couldn't get on opener slots. No one wanted them, so they just put on their own shows.
Yeah.
They've never opened for anybody.
I respect that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they did it in like an organic kind of like a way as well when you think about it, because for a while there it was like you had to like win competitions to get any street cred, and then it was like, oh, then I had to go viral. You're like, you just skipped all the grinding and just like you're famous.
I mean, they definitely were grinding a little bit. I remember the first time I ever heard of them was when they sold out 8 years.
Oh, okay.
It was like, it's a tiny bar. Like, no one sells out 8 years.
Right. No, I've never heard that happen.
Yeah, they just recently came up here. I got to see him again. So and they have a pretty good following up here. So I'm glad to see that. Like a lot of the Texas guys and everything. It's really cool to see that, because it gives more incentive to them coming up here for me to fly down in Texas. But not that I should complain, because I was shocked at how easy, if we didn't have the TSA, it would be a very enjoyable experience to go to Texas. Because like when I got there, they had like 3 lines open. I'm like, dude, I'm going to miss the flight. I'm going to miss this flight because of security. But like I spent longer waiting to get patted down and put in a machine than in the air. It was bad. I was like texting Steve. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Like, and then I look over, there's like a cousin in line. I'm like, oh God, we can't have any conversation. I'm running through this airport like the family in Home Alone. Like I'm going to forget something. But it's cool how like Texas is like a great hub for if you could fly and do gigs and that.
Yeah, the motor cars will fly us out a fair amount, and I never have an issue with TSA. Like I think it's just because I look like
I've never gotten patted down. I always thought that I kind of looked a little bit foreign sometimes in the right light.
I mean, like you're coming through the line, you're going to get a little frisked every day.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah,
they smell the rock and roll on you.
But also pre-check helps a lot.
Oh yes, I need to do that.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, I never did, but they always put me on the same locator as somebody that did, so gave it to me for free.
Oh, that's awesome. I need to talk to them about that. That's the way to go.
So you guys are collabing on music now?
Oh yeah, we just started recording some more stuff for me, and Bill can play bass on it. We did a couple weeks ago?
Yeah,
for a couple sessions. Bill's actually coming over tomorrow and producing somebody else at my place.
Yeah, there's this young kid that I know named Hayden Phillips. Sounds a lot like Zach Bryan, and I mean when I say kid, I mean kid.
He's like,
yeah. Like he can't come over to the house till 2:30.
Yeah, because he gets good.
And I'm friends with his parents, and they're wonderful people. And he's a very talented kid, and produce. Loose term there, but he doesn't
make you sit in that chair.
Okay. I've never done that, so that'd be cool. But he doesn't have like a demo. He started writing songs, and he's such a good kid and very, very talented. And I was the recipient of a lot of cool opportunities early on, and got to do some fun stuff. So I talked to Drew, and we're gonna get him to lay down a track and then put some instrumentation on it. So he's got a couple songs, so I got get gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hate to say, but like you can't like book gigs. You can have all the talent And if you don't have those Spotify links or Apple Music, then people just like right by. And there's a lot of people in that position, and they don't have people like you, where like they don't know what to do. And you know, they're like, you could Google and you can get yourself GarageBand and everything, but you're not gonna like what you do.
No.
That's kind of how we all start a little bit. There's always somebody there to kind of push you, or show you the way. Like most of the time, I don't know. Like there's always been like people in my life that don't really know what they're doing, but want to help out.
Right. That actually perfectly describes me in a lot of areas of my life.
But yeah, like not a lot of people realize like as long as you get like a good source, it doesn't cost that much to send it to someone to mix and master it. I was surprised how, I'm not going to say cheap. If you're doing a full album, it's expensive, but to do like a single where the guy was like, oh yeah, this guy did this guy, and this guy. I'm like, oh wow, how much is this going to cost? And you call them up, they're like, I'll do like 200 a track. And they're like, what?
Yeah, fair mixing prices. I mean, everyone's working, you know, it's just, it's so much easier for mix engineers to work from home now. You know, that was kind of the thing back in the day, was technology just wasn't able to allow there to be that many mix engineers. Now it's just, you know, it's the Wild West.
Yeah.
Mastering back in the day was the one that would always get me. It was such a ridiculous amount of money. I remember like the first couple American Aquarium records would get mastered.
Well, proper mastering is fucking tough. Man.
It was super tough. Yeah. But it would just be painful to like pay that money. Yeah. You know, and then it comes back and like, yes, it's like,
it's better, but what is
better,
it?
But like, I feel like it should sound a lot better for the amount of money they used to charge for.
And now you can pay $50 to an AI.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that too. And then a lot of people listen to music like through their phone, and like people are like, do I mix it mono? Do I mix it stereo?
Yeah, what's the point of like getting a good mix when you're not listening to a good speaker?
Yeah. It's like, don't the fans do the car test too? You know, like if you do it yourself, you put it through. I use like Easy Mix and you know, the traditional isotope, and you know, you get in the car and you're like, oh, that sounds good, or it sounds like garbage. But like,
yeah, I still car test with my shitty Honda Odyssey.
it makes a big difference, because that used to be where a lot of people consume their media, and now it's always in front of your face now, and it's weird. I feel like it should be a lot easier to get your music out, and it feels like it's tougher when there's even more outlets like TikTok and all, like Instagram. It's a venue open 24/7 all across the world, and it's, you know, like you're trying to push your new music, and you put it out, and you're like, come on, man, like, you know, you can come off a huge stage and people know you, oh yeah, we're gonna go listen to your music, and you see those numbers, you're like, what is going on? You know, like you have all the reach in the world, and it's just like, and now like another aspect of being a musician is like, how I get that algo, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
right. No, I mean, like you're exactly right. Like, the perspective is more like it's so easy to make music now, like that anybody can make it in their bedroom, so that like it's just that much more competitive. You know, there are more people in the world than there were 100 years ago, I guess. But there's 7-8 billion people in the world now. It's always been that many people listening to music, so it's not like the clientele has grown. You know, it's that much more to sift through, because we have the entire history of recording music and adding 100,000 songs a day on Spotify.
That's with like TikTok.
So crazy.
You sound like an old man. I'll be like, yo, kids. You know, when stuff goes viral, and it seems so easy. This famous celebrity seems to come so easy. So a lot more people are just cranking out material. And so like back in the day, you had to be like, I think I kind of want to play. Maybe I'll play live. Okay, I didn't embarrass myself. Maybe I'll play more.
Right.
You know, and there was kind of more of a progress now where TikTok has said it that like not everybody, but there's a significant amount of people who just want to make viral content versus making art.
Yeah.
Like if you want to make art, at the end of the day, it's for you. And like, would you like people to hear it? Yes. But if they don't, they don't. Like,
right.
You're still going to make
art for the sake of art.
Yeah.
yourself, not for. I mean, it's
Don't pay
TikTok's like a direct to consumer thing.
Right.
You know, it's not like you're going through all the channels that there used to be just to get anything released.
Yeah, and it's funny as I always told myself, like, I give people advice on how to like do and get viral, and it's funny because they'll be like, well, you don't do that, and I'm like, no, because I kind of feel like bad about it, but I recently did it just because I was like, I know if I just tweak this around a little bit, this is going to get 700,000 views, and I was like, I felt bad because I'm using somebody else's. It's the Who's the King of Country, and I was like, I know.
Oh, yeah, I saw that the other day.
Yeah, with Jeff Cannon, I was like, I know I can drop this again, but do this, and it's going to make even more people irate. And I was like,
controversy, man.
yeah, and I did it, and I'm like, oh, there goes that forest fire, and I was like, man.
I don't feel like that's disingenuous, though.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's the guy's voicing his opinion, honestly.
Yeah,
and it was respectful, and people came
yeah.
at him for it. I was like, he's like, oh, I love his music. This was the soundtrack. I grew up, loved it, blah blah. I just don't think, and I don't know, like, there is something. I'm not trying to alienate my own base, but older country listeners, they have their set. They have the people they have on the pedestal, and anybody else comes near it, they get knocked right off. It's weird. It'd be like I loved Metallica growing up, but like if there was a band that like sounded like Metallica, I wouldn't be like, nope, there's only one, like Highlander, like,
But people are like that. Like for my dad, like fucking Christopher Reeves is Superman, and nobody,
no one knows
what I mean?
Superman.
Like,
dude.
He saw when he was young, he was like, this is great, and there is nothing that's going to ever top that for him.
Yeah, in the same way, like it makes me think of like fans of Kiss, like older dudes that are fans of Kiss, or like Van Halen, or like the classic rock. It's like growing up, it's like we're only listening to this in the house,
Yeah.
Like they didn't listen to new bands. It was just the glory days,
Right.
Dude,
take T-tops off the Trans Am. We're putting on 1984.
Oh yeah, get that man.
it's my dad just recently got rid of my Firebird, and it had T-tops. It's funny.
Yep. See, I didn't have a Firebird. I had a RS Camaro with T-tops, and I literally listened to Van Halen's 1984 with the tops off all the time.
Yeah, dude. Yep. I remember I had a Firebird and I had a Trans Am, and I sold it. I sold the Trans Am for $400, and the guy goes, "Why is it so cheap?" And I said, "To pop the hood, you have to be doing 50 miles an hour, and you have to pull it while it's moving." I said, "There's all kind." I said, "Mechanically, it's sound, but there's things you have to deal with that." And I remember he went down he moved to Miami, and I was like, "How's the car?" He goes, "Oh, dude, all I do is I drive around and I blast Euro trash through the T-tops." And I could just see him in Miami listening. Like that was back when that European like techno and like the Paul Oakenfold and DJ Tiesto, and I could just see him down there. I'm like,
I like to think he's living his best life.
It's like the Instagram dude, Big Time Tommy. OS for life.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's funny is that somebody asked one time, "What's that guy ever doing?" And I looked on like Facebook, and here he was. I don't know if it was his car, but it was a Rolls Royce Wraith. I was like, wow, he took a $400 car, and that's an upgrade.
Good for him.
Yeah. The T-tops. But yeah, dude, my dad was the same way. I remember my dad it's still Leonard Skinner. And I remember being like, "Dad, hey, check this out." It was Shinedown's version of Simple Man. He was like, "Turn it off." He said, there ain't no band that can cover Leonard Skinner. And like he went I was surprised he went and saw. I mean, there's no remaining members left, original members, but he went and it's like he doesn't even talk. He doesn't even want to talk about it. But like the keys player, my buddy, I don't know if he still manages him. I was like, "Hey, do you want to talk to the guy who plays keys for Leonard Skinner?" And he's like, "That ain't Leonard Skinner." Like, they done.
He's not wrong.
I don't want to talk to them. Nope. But yeah, he like went down to the funerals and everything. Yeah.
My buddy is actually the drum tech for Skinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's been with him for years, and like every now and then the drummer, will get sick, and he gets to fill in and play. But I felt bad the first time I went to go see him at work and play with him. I was backstage, and this guy comes out of the VIP like meet and greet tent, and he looked at me and made a face like he recognized me, and he was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," and then just kept walking. And then I realized that was the singer for Leonard Skinner, and it wasn't that he recognized me; he thought I recognized him, which I did. And, so now every time I go, I have to make sure my hair is different. I can't face him again.
I gotta hide my muscles.
I like to think he still remembers it. Like that son of a bitch bass player snubbed me. Who does he think he is?
Now, speaking of like not being frontmen of bands, who's more likely to get recognized at your own show? You guys or Matt Westerman?
Probably Matt.
Yeah, that would have been definitely Matt.
Yeah.
I don't even know him, but I know who he is.
It's funny, like the same, like I just remember him screaming when we were in Texas. That's the first time I met him, and people were rolling their eyes. They're just like, "Fucking Matt Westerman."
Yeah, I got a lot of group text threads.
Yeah,
with his name in it, but I've never known.
It's funny. It's funny because like when I was talking to like Dylan Weldon, and he explained how people listen to music different, and it also applies to people watch concerts different.
Yeah.
Like people, like especially country, a lot of it has to do with the voice, and like I could totally see how like you guys could just have a memorable show, like the best in your lives, and you could with some people just walk out in the crowd and they would have no idea that you were just on stage.
Did I not tell you my story?
I don't know
About this. This is great. Okay, this is a classic bass player at its finest. So we played. It was like our first time somebody had ever taken us out on a tour. Like we toured hard, but it was like bar gigs, menu venues. Like fucking, if we could talk you into letting us play, we would play it. But Corey Smith, the singer out of Georgia, took us on tour, and I mean he was every night was sold out, but his crowd was like really tough to win over, and it made us a much better band. Because I mean, they didn't want to hear us. They just didn't. But by the end of the set, like we'd win them over. But there was a learning curve. The first couple shows, we got eaten alive. BJ, especially to his credit, like really learned how to work a rowdy, aggressive crowd. And
yeah, because you attack too much, they'll attack me.
Yeah, like they'll turn on you. But he would like. There'd always be one asshole who would say something dumb enough and loud enough that he would roast them.
I could point him out.
He'd roast them, and then the crowd was like, "Oh shit!" Right? So like then they liked you. They were like, "Oh man, he fucked that dude up."
Yeah.
So we played the House of. It was my first time ever playing the House of Blues in New Orleans. It was sold out. We got done, and again, the crowd did not know who we were, didn't want to hear us. But by the end of it, they were calling for an encore. So walk off stage, you're like, "Fuck, that is great!" Like opening bands don't get sustained chance for encores.
Yeah.
And so we're all walking to the merch table because we have to sell merch. And this drunk woman stops me. She's like, you are in the band. And I was like, yeah, my name's Bill. I play bass. And she's like, no, you play the guitar that didn't do anything. And I was like, no, man, I play bass. And she was like, no, I couldn't hear you at all. And it didn't even look like you were moving your fingers. And I was like, have a nice night. Thank you. So like the universe will keep a bass player especially humble.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if you want to talk about like feeling like you're on top of the world and then be reminded like, oh well, you only got 4 strings, pal. You
play the guitar that didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I mean on the same thing, like about half the nights I was on tour with Jinx, I'd get told I played a great steel guitar.
Yeah. Somebody told me, God, was it one of the Silverado guys? Said, talking about a pedal steel player, was like, man, that guy in the wheelchair could play. I'm like, what?
The guy in the wheelchair. I play the pedal wheel.
Woo! Damn,
I like that.
He got the machinery, man.
Right. He got some hardware, man.
Oh, man.
That's
not all the pedal movements were involuntary.
Yeah. Oh my God, those are two good ones, man. That's fine. Even when you would be playing the keys, Drew, even like you would come out, and you know.
Oh yeah. I'd walk around and I'd play guitar. No, I would always get called for playing steel.
That's
crazy.
They
thought the keyboard was one big steel guitar, but they also had the other steel player.
I just laugh. Drew's like the OG of the podcast, and we went to the bar after one of his shows, and there was a guy at the jukebox putting Cody Jinks songs on. I said, "Hey, do you like Cody Jinks?" He goes, "Yeah, he just played right down the road here." I said, "Well, one of his band members here. If you want to go talk to him." And he goes, "Like he'd come here." I'm like, I'm telling you, dude. Like,
that's why Drew heals himself off the bar stool. Shaved on his ass. Yeah.
I was like, look, I get it, but this literally is the closest bar. I sure, and that was cool because like he sat down and talked to me, and after we were done, the guy put on good music, and I'd be like, oh, this is a cool Whiskey Myers song. And Drew's like, yeah, I did keys on that. I'd be like, oh, this is a cool song. He's like, yeah, I did the keys on that. And it's funny, is like
you learned a lot about me that day.
Yeah, I'm like, dude. Who's this guy? And then like Bill, you're getting right up there to Drew Harakal status of being on like everything too. It seems.
Yeah, I feel like the ranch. There's a pretty good chance whatever they're playing on the radio, one of us played on or have some connection to.
Yeah, and I never know. And the one time Drew was like, "Do you just like everything I'm on?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know anything you're on. Like I don't look at. They don't show this."
He was interviewing or doing a blind reaction. What was it, Evan or Della Rose or something?
It might have been Evan Boyer.
Yeah, because we did. Yeah, I did all the keys on that record with Tim.
Yeah,
he played on that too, and then. But yeah, just like every time I would like go and look at your TikTok or your Instagram, and just be like blind reaction. It's like, oh, I played on that one. Oh, I played on that one. Oh, I played on that one. It's like, are you looking up what I played and then listening, or does this happen to be that? It
just happens to be. And I did have a cool like rock star moment. One of the first like rock star moments. I was partying in a hotel with Taylor Honeycutt, and they were like, "Yeah, man, this next record's gonna be awesome, man." And they were like, "We want to get that dude on keys." I was like, "Who?" And they're like, "The dude he plays with Cody Jinks." I was like, "I got his number." I was like, I don't know if you want me to give out his number, but I was like, I know him. And they're like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "This guy?" They're like, "Yeah, that's the guy. We went him on." Did you play on that?
Yeah, I've hung out with him a couple times. They were just coming from town a couple weeks ago. I hung out with her. She's got some cool stuff going on, man. Like this record she's working on with is it Muscadine? I think
so. That band's just great.
But, yeah, dude, that Alabama is having their moment with like the Red Clay Strays, them Dirty Roses, Muscadine.
Yeah, Red Clay sold out every show this year. They had a full year sell. That's insane.
Yeah, dude, I had an opportunity to see Mickey and the Motor Cars or the Red Clay Strays, and I went with Mickey. I had tickets for both, and I was so excited to see Mickey and the Motor Cars, and I don't remember any of it. I don't even know if I stayed.
Next time, just come to sound check. This way, we guarantee you like get at least one song, maybe two. I don't know. But we'll do that next time.
I was like, listen, because the people that were like, no, you want to go see the Red Clay? I was like, listen, I've seen them. I've seen them on Mile Zero. I know they're phenomenal. I said they're nice guys. I got to hang out with them and talk to them, and I would love to see them again. I highly doubt I'd be able to go, hey, and they'd be like, hey, come back, let's hang out. And I was like, I don't expect that. I was like, but I've been dying to see it's gonna be an awesome show. And
meanwhile, I'm like, hey, Patrick. Hey.
Oh my God.
You don't even
hey.
Oh, dude, I was probably so scared. I was probably so scared, so embarrassed. Because it's funny. It's like around here, nobody knows who I am. I feel like if I did something like that in Texas, I'd be on like the TMZ Texas edition of it's the Texas country TikTok.
Wait, you mean a Texan would judge you for showing up to a show too drunk, not remembering it, going home? Have you been to a show here?
Yeah.
Is that not a lyric in a Josh Abbott song?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's see like
it's
it's
if
funny.
you got like shit at a Dairy Queen you didn't eat at.
You ain't met my Texas
You ain't met my Texas yet.
I just remember when people were like, so what do you think about Texas? And I remember to this one guy, I was like, man, I thought it'd be more Texan. He's like, what the hell does that mean? I was like, listen, I'm pretty sure the first couple introductions to Texas, me growing up, was, I guess, Pee Wee Herman, you know, and that song. What was that movie with Elijah Wood, North, where like he's got the Cadillac, the big longhorns on the grill, and he sings the song.
They got those down here.
Yeah, that's the stock carrots, man.
Yeah, dude. People were like, "You ever seen them before?" I'm like, "Yeah, I lived out in the country. That's a Texas Longhorn." And I said, "They're they're the reason why the gates are so big." You know, cool. I've seen that before, and they were like, "Hmm. Well, what else can we see?" I was like, but I did get to see like the first building I saw, because I stayed in like Frisco and all, like this pretty modern. Like all this stuff, you're from up here. Everything's old up here, unless it's like new construction. And a lot of stuff is new in Texas. But going to the Gar Hole, seeing that building, I was like, this is when I think Texas, that's Texas. Like a roadhouse.
It's awesome.
Yeah, dude, that was a great venue. And yeah, it was a cool history. And because I went and saw Midnight River Choir there, and he's like, yeah, Bonnie and Clyde robbed this place. It used to be a bank. I'm like, what? And then you go to find out. But I was like, dude, this is the first building. I said, when I think Texas, like a Texan like roadhouse, you know, not the steakhouse. You know,
yeah, there's like all sorts of stuff that's like definitely not up to code in the best way. But their burgers are unbelievable, and you know, the staff was great. I loved it. I had heard a bunch about it from Jamie Lynn Wilson because she always like raves about it, and a couple of the guys, a couple of them are like retired athletic directors, and so I played there with the motor cars, and Spider, the guy that does the production day of, was like, so as an athletic director, I got asked like outside guard, and I was like, marching band, buddy. I don't have an athletic bone in my body. I didn't play football, but yeah, I like that place.
Yeah, it's definitely. Like I remember with the burger, it was like the Duke. I was like, how can I not get that in Texas?
Oh yeah, I had to get that and then play. I was bogged down, buddy.
It's funny. Is what's his name? He was playing the upright that he got from you.
Oh no, Bob from Midnight River. Yeah, so he bought my amp.
Okay.
Which is awesome. We played a show down in New Braunfels, and I had it up for sale. He was like, "Hey man, like I might buy the amp from you." It's like, "Oh, well, if it's you, I'll give it to you for this." But it's a great amp, man. I played it on like the American Aquarium Live in Raleigh record back in the day. Like it's on the cover. Like, but he put it has this little wooden top thing that you can pop open. He put hinges on it and put like a tuner and like.
Is it an old flip top or?
It's a Mark Bass.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, it's not an old flip top, but it has this like, because what they did was their heads were like this big.
Yeah.
And they just retrofitted it into like a cabinet. Mm-hmm. So they put an access panel and then it just pops out. And he put hinges on it. So I love that guy. I love Bob Driver. He's a great guy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That whole band's fantastic and like the coolest dudes.
Yeah, it was. That was a cool time.
I'm opening up for them in January, actually.
Oh, hell yeah.
As Drew Harakal?
Yeah, doing my stuff.
And you're doing it full band?
Yep. I think I'm going to bring a trio. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm doing yet. Probably bringing him.
Yeah.
It's stuck with
Who
me.
you got playing guitar? Tim or?
I think I might front it on guitar and then have a drummer.
Yeah.
Where's the show? What day?
That's at Mags.
Oh,
I think the 24th. I don't remember exactly.
That'd be cool. You should know. I played a show, and my buddy's like, "Listen, I need you to play bass." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not a bass player." And I put a status on Facebook, like, if anybody has any like advice or anything. And Bill chimed in. He said, "Dude, if you play wrong note, just blame it on the keys player. Just look at your keys player and go, what are you doing, dude?"
They think I'm using my left hand. I'm not really.
No, I'm just skipping all over it.
Yeah, first off, I'm like, keys player? The Northeast. I don't think anybody knows how to play piano other than chopsticks. You know, like, I was like, dude, you have no idea. Like, it's you guys are so spoiled. Like Talbot, like, he was like, listen, like, he had to do some stuff when I was in Texas, and he was like, you know, he gave me the keys to his truck, and he was like, just go wherever you want. And I'm like, live music in tech. I'm like, oh my God. And he's like telling me, he's like, technically you can do all this in one day. And I'm looking at like what are the feelings here? You know, like, what? I'm like, be over there and back over there. And I'm like, dude, it's such a, so like, yeah, but it's a great dilemma. Like up here, it's like, what tribute band do I want to go see? None. I don't, the tribute band, they just, I appreciate someone that loves an artist so much to emulate 100% of everything about them, but to see it, I don't know.
That's a great segue into a tribute band show.
I also don't like going to tribute, but we started because it's fun to play.
And also, we don't take it seriously because we also kind of hate tribute bands. But for whatever reason, Minstill.
Yeah, I always get that wrong.
Yeah,
but
the pickle themed Vince Gill tribute band.
Yeah, the kosher tribute to Vince Gill. Yeah, no, we're not like, that's the thing. Like, doing a tribute band, would not interest any of us, except for the fact that all the guys in it play in different projects, and we just want an excuse to play together.
That's very true.
Yeah,
and like Vince Gill's stuff is very hard to do well, and so like we don't take it seriously, but we take the music very seriously, and it's just a really awesome excuse to hang.
Well, it's a lot better than like trying to like go watch like a Beatles tribute again. You know, just like how many of those guys? They're all dressed up in the mop wigs.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like, I get it. You've seen it a million times, but you know, like to try to truly like dig into the music just for the sake of love of that music. Like Vince is one of the like best songwriters of all time. He's in my top 5 guitar players. Like, the dude's like just a phenom.
Yeah,
but I think so many musicians get into tribute bands because like there's money there, and like
so much money
this weekend.
Where's it coming from?
Like we're making no money.
We're doing it for the love of it.
Yeah, it is like literally the exact opposite of the reason why most people do tribute bands.
Yeah,
like
it blew my mind when like I got offered to play guitar in one, and it was like he goes, yeah, you know, we'll have this, we got this, we got the contract, and yeah, it'd be $130,000 a year. I'm like, what? Like playing somebody else's song? Like all I have to do is just like go on Ultimate Guitar, find the tab, learn that.
Honestly, that's just getting hired by any artist, in a sense. Like it's not your song; you're playing some other guy's song.
Yeah,
so what's the difference?
That's dude. The drummer in my band, his first co-write went double platinum.
Ooh,
well, okay.
It's you know, people always say like there's no money in music. I'm like, listen.
Right. No, there is. But you can't do it for money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He showed up with this big souped up excursion. I'm like, dude, what is going on? And he's like, check out this BMI check. And I was, bruh. You know, like,
that's, I mean, yeah, when you're getting that many spins, it definitely adds up.
Yeah. And he got the right coach, because he was like, yeah, you get these rights, mechanical, and this and that and this and this guy. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know there was that much. He goes, either did I. And I mean, now like he's doing songwrites for I forget where at, but like he's like writing all the time now, and He quit. He was like, yeah, I quit my job. And he goes, now I just write music.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a double platinum single, I'm sure you got a publishing deal.
Exactly.
Quick. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I was on TikTok live and I added them. They're like, yeah, man, you want to hear the song we just wrote? I'm like, yeah. And they're playing it. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. And who would have thought? Like, it went everywhere.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that only happens. It's weird how the universe just picks its moments.
Well, there's a #1 song every week on some chart, right?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like what Drew was saying about, for being hired gun guys, like a lot of it is almost like a tribute. Like, so with Kyle Nixon, the 38s, like we wrote that record, right? So like,
you guys were a band.
We were a band, right? Coming into the Motor Cars, they have an album that's coming out next year that's already recorded. That's fantastic. But like, so I wouldn't have any part in like any creative capacity really with the Motor Cars for probably like 2 years,
Yeah.
So I'm still, you got to go through a whole album cycle before we start the, pre-production writing process. So that's why it's been really fun to work with Drew on his stuff. And we got our friend Tug, who plays with us in the Vince Gilpin band. We played on a bunch of stuff with them. But like, so we all get along. Next time you're in Texas, you should come to Drew's studio because it's stacked with gear. It has everything you need.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
We started doing some pre-production stuff with like Jared Morris.
Yeah. Been working with him lately. Trying to think. We're doing some of that bass tracking for T Bros.
Yeah. We retracked the bass for a bunch of T Brothers stuff that's going to come out in the next year. And then Drew's been very, very kind. I have some friends back on the East Coast that have wanted me to track some stuff remotely. I don't have the capabilities at my house, so Drew's very kind and lets me take up some of his time with that. And then also fix my basses because he's a wizard at everything. He's a phenomenal guitar tech, if you didn't know that.
Oh, dude.
See, we were just talking on Facebook earlier.
I know.
Yeah.
With like a typical Drew response where I was like, oh my God, my mind hurts. Because like polarity and stuff like that. And like, I just remember a guy being like, just take this wire and flip it. And that'll flip. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Yeah. And like, I was talking to Zach Wilkerson and he was talking about like all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, like if I had a friend like you would either love me or absolutely, you would see my phone number constantly. Cause there's constantly like, I've like guitars that I love that I was like, you know what? Today's the day I won't shake soldering. Like everything is surgical. And then it gets to the point and it's like, I'm like, oh no. And slag's going everywhere. I'm like, I'm terrible at soldering. I'm terrible. Like, I'll be looking at a diagram and I'll be like, oh no, it's backwards. Like, I'm just
I am that friend for Drew.
Oh, it's
like I'm like I get.
I do that for a lot of friends, but I used to do it for a living. But
I need like a friend of a friend, so I could be like, hey. I'm like, hey, Bill.
Loose relationship.
Just tell him you got him a guitar. You got a guitar. You're trying it out. Nah, I need a split coil on this. Like, there's so much to like the instrument and then the science behind it. It's just you'll never get bored being a musician. You'll get poor, but you won't get bored.
Yeah, there's something to like knowing how, like in a very intricate way, how your instrument works.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like that's a part of me as a musician, like knowing how like a string creates the current through the pickup, like how it gets amplified, like why the string is resonating and why like the math behind the fretboard. Like there's a certain thing to like really fully understanding what you're doing that I think adds to a level of musicianship that like I think probably existed a lot more in the past. It doesn't so much anymore because there are a lot more people that will just take it to a shop because they have that convenience that they didn't have back in the day.
See, I worked at a guitar shop and like am fully aware of like what needs to be done and what's what on guitars and basses. But when it comes to like working on my own, I know that like I just second guess myself so much on a ton of stuff. Like
it's just trial and error, man.
No, I know. Like I'll do it, but like I won't stop messing with it if I'm setting it up myself.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's
is
like,
this gonna make it better? Is this gonna make it better?
like it's like you know how like when you're working on a project and you start being like, well, what if we try this? What if we try this? Like at some point you get
it's never gonna get that 100%. Right. Yeah.
Right. And so that's why it's nice to have trust in somebody that he knows how I like to play, and I understand enough about it to be like, oh well, let's do this on this, and he knocks it out of the park every time.
Yeah, and a lot of your equipment, you probably can't just wheel that into somewhere. Like you're
no, like vintage keyboard repair people are fucking very few and far between.
Yeah.
There's quite a few in the Northeast, like around New York and those areas, like New England. But there's like one dude like Ken Rich on the West Coast. And there's some like Hammond techs here and there between like I know some in like North Carolina, Nashville, but like most of that I had to teach myself, just to like I'd buy beat up shit and fix it up and figure out how it works and make it sound better and play better. Some of it I kept, some of it I sold over the years, because that there's just not people that are really dealing with them in a good quality capacity.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have like a beat up keyboard, but no one has like a good functioning keyboard. So they don't ever want to play it.
Yeah, and that's like I know there's like jobs full time because like some of these department stores have organs that are the size of the store up here.
Yeah.
I think the one that might be considered one of the largest instruments in the world.
Have live organists in there?
The last time, yeah, and somebody to service it. And I think it's Macy's or I can't remember.
Theo Schwartz or something, probably.
See, that reminds me of like the old baseball stadiums and stuff. Like they all had organs built into them,
Yeah.
But like now, what is it? The guy that was playing for the Rangers like got cut a couple of years ago, something like that. They just use Spotify now or some shit. Yeah. But that was a whole art and like that was an entire career path as being for your organist, churches, or parties, stuff like that. That's fucking wild.
That is, yeah.
Again,
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, like when you're a kid going to baseball, there's somebody actually playing.
Yeah. No, that's thought about that.
Computers taking over they're taking our jobs.
They're taking the jobs and creating new weird ones, man.
Yeah, like I was messing around with like one of those AI song generators, and I put you just type in what you want the song to be about. And I put in Trudy Erg revival sneaks on the Cody Canada's bus and drinks all of his alcohol, and it legit. It was like a cool song. It made me laugh because it did it in a funny way, but it sounded like metalcore. I was like, man, I could probably upload this, and I bet you somebody would spin it and be like, I love this band. And it would be completely like it's soulless. It was so weird. It's just, I'm like, man, I hope it never comes to this, but I don't think it ever will.
No.
But
one of my favorite ones I ever heard is Charlie Stout. Got AI to generate like a cock rock version of West Texas in My Eye.
Yeah.
That's like, once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It had me hysterical. It was pretty great. It's a song. I wish I had it. I would have it right now.
But yeah, it's crazy. But I'm trying. I always wanted to ask. I remember when you were in Texas when you were playing with American Aquarium, and like being a musician, like, and somebody that's like been on stage and knows how things work, and like I don't know BJ like BJ, but I just know he's like super intense, and I just never take my eyes off of him because it's an experience, and he reposted him, and I was like, the guy's got laser beams coming out of his eyes. He's 100%. Because I thought the Texas sun was going to slow him down, and he was like the Dark Phoenix, like on fire. I was like, and
pure energy.
Yeah, he broke a guitar string. He played with another guitar. They brought back his number one, and he hit that chord. I was like, it's out of tune. And he knew as soon as he did it, he heard it too.
Uh-huh.
And he went took your tuner off the top of your bass. And I was like, you can't.
No, trust me, I heard it too.
Yeah, but I kept thinking, I'm like, I was like, you have to take that guitar and run as far away from the sound as you can, because you can't tune it when everything's going on. And I was like, oh no, and he kept trying. He was getting madder and madder and madder, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, someone grab that guitar, because I've been there. Like, you can't. You have.
Oh yeah, no, it's a nightmare. But I mean, BJ's. Yeah, you get frustrated in the moment, but like, really, that's not going to faze him too terribly much, because he doesn't
really know that he's frustrating you at the time.
He wasn't frustrating me. Yeah. No, I was fine. I was laughing. I thought it was great. Because you see, and you just have no control over it, and it's just like, well, how do you handle it? Yeah. And but BJ's very good at, like, he'll try to fix it, and then that's the beauty of having like a 6-piece band. Like, if he can just stop playing, you know what I mean? And he knows it. He wants to get it back up as quick as possible. You just roll with the punches. Everybody's doing what they can, because that was Highway 30, right? And so, like, the sun's beating down and everything, so it's hard to keep acoustic guitars in tune.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, the boat may have been in direct sun or something like that. But yeah, no, BJ's a pro. He'll roll with any of that stuff. But yeah, no, that's the rule on stage. Like, if anybody has something that is necessary, I had a pedal tuner, so it's not. I didn't need the snark on there. I don't even remember why it was on there. But what was it? I do particularly sometimes get a kick out of because, like, when you're in a band, you're super close, and so, like, sometimes when somebody's having a hard time, like, but it's not like a serious hard time, it's great for everybody else, in the band. And I remember one time we were opening up for Cody Canada and the Departed in Moscow. It's spelled like Moscow, Idaho, but it's Moscow, I think is how they pronounce it. And it was this bar. And a couple nights prior, like, I'm not a big, like, I don't like smoke pot or, just because I'm bad at it. Like, there's not against it. I just fucking suck at it.
Yeah.
And so someone gave me this chocolate bonbon, and they were like several nights prior, and they were like, eat a third of it, and when you think it's not working, keep waiting. And then
don't keep eating.
Then when you think that it's really not kicking in, still keep waiting. And I was like, cool, gotcha. Well, that crowd was particularly rowdy and was not interested in American Aquarium that night. And so we were all, like, a little bit frustrated. So after our set, I was like, fuck this, I'm eating this bonbon. And I ate a third of it, but, like, I'm a fat kid, so it was good. It was a good chocolate. So I ended up eating more like half. I was like, that's maybe a third.
Yeah, it tastes good, so you want to keep eating it.
I was like, well, if there was some other chocolate, it would be fine. But this is all I have. And so Cody Canada comes on, and Cody was very well aware that, like, the crowd did not give us much time and attention. And Cody, you can't say enough nice things about Cody Canada. Like, he's just the best. And so he was like, I really want you to pay attention to that opening band. I'm going to call BJ back up to sing a song. BJ gets up there, and I think Cody gave him his, like, PRS, and it was in drop D, I think, and something. And I think Cody was just like, there's a tuner, you're good. And, like, BJ didn't hear it, and so he starts playing, and he, like, doesn't know why it's wrong. He's trying. He already started the song.
Yeah, he's cranking the fly.
So he's trying to tune it while he's playing. And if I had been a better bandmate, I would have maybe ran and found a guitar that was in tune and helped.
Just cranked it up.
No, at that point the bonbon kicked in, and I saw BJ getting frustrated with it, and so he finally stopped, and he just started, like, just strumming it, but screaming all the lyrics and leaving, like, very little air between it to, like, cover up the out-of-tune guitar, which I thought was hysterical when the weed hit. and couldn't stop laughing. And like merch, I was at merch, which was not far from the stage. So now BJ can hear me laughing hysterically.
Oh.
His guitar's at tune. The crowd's still not paying
And
attention.
he thinks you're laughing.
Which I was. And he would have been laughing at me too, like with just as much enthusiasm. Cause like, I was like, oh, this poor dude, like that's a shitty situation. And I'm going to laugh. And he would have done the same thing. But like, he did it. He made it through to his credit. And he literally could have gone up there and done the best he's ever done. And that particular crowd that night just wouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I was so hysterical. And like, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to lay down in the band now. Like, I just like removed myself from the rest of the evening. But like, yeah, I mean, he's, you know, had to deal with plenty of out-of-tune guitar. He's had to deal with an out-of-tune bassist some nights where I stopped right and couldn't figure out how to function, you know? So he's no stranger to any of that. So there's not, I really almost can't imagine a scenario where BJ really gets like flustered these days. He fell down at the Ridgely Theater like last year. Yeah, he tripped on something and fell and like literally just rolled, popped up like a spring.
Yeah.
Laughed. It was just like, bravo, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely like dropped the guitar on its face during the show.
Oh, yeah. We all have, yeah. Yeah.
It's like strap lock, like disengaged, fucking fell straight on the ground.
All that shit happens so much more than I think people realize from the crowd. That there's just always something going wrong.
Yeah.
It's very rare that everything's going right. You know.
Yeah. Dude, like I was in a band and it was like, I can't say how many times like we would have to modify power supplies because they all have different power supply things. We would just have to just carve one up and put it in and hope the board didn't explode or something. And like all the cowboy stuff that people don't understand, like how close this didn't happen because a chord. And now there's not like a radio. The Radio Shacks are gone, so to get all like stuff like that, it's crazy because like back in the day, you know, you could be like, oh man, we forgot this. You go to Radio Shack, get an adapter or get tools to. Now it's just like if we're gonna go to like Home Depot, like they don't have
all
stuff like that.
Stuff's so specialized now too, like different barrel plugs and different voltages and you know.
Yeah, and all the RCA to quarter inch or XLR and all that stuff. They used to have that stuff, and they always somehow. And it's funny, like if you're not in the band, you would have no use for this cable, and it would just disappear, like how a dryer eats socks. Or these cables.
You can never find it when you need it, and then you find it in some random spot. You're like, how the hell did that get there?
Yeah, it's funny because like I'm left-handed, and it got to the point where like I wasn't allowed to wrap up cables because like everyone would do the roadie wrap, and you could throw it across the stage and it'd be perfectly straight, and they throw another one, it would look like a seismogram, and they'd be like, well, that's one of Pat's, and I'm like, and they're like, yeah, you're done. I was never. It was to the point where they're like, yeah, just pick up the heavy stuff. All right. But it's weird how much stuff, especially if you are like that type of musician of bringing your sound, of just how I personally like I'm done, you know, like going to a venue where you have to run your own sound and put stuff up, and half the time you don't get to eat, you don't get to drink water, and there's some of these times when it's outside you're dehydrated, and now you're just starting off mad and frustrated, and it just
I'm sure you're going to work for 4 hours before you go to work.
Yeah. I like the gigs where the back, you know, you go there and you have your own amp or, you know, your own keyboards, and, you know, you have your personal stuff, and you go and guys, how's your monitor sound? Full band, boom, boom. Let's go. All right. Go back and relax and have your dinner and come out. The first time that it happened, it was also like the first time this guy came up and he goes, hey man, I've been assigned to the band. What can I get you? And I was like, I'll take 50 chicken tenders and a 30-pack of Miller Lite. And he goes, okay. And he walked away. And I was like, dude, how crazy would it be if he comes back? This dude came back with a wheelbarrow filled of ice and beer and I didn't count them. I wanted to. Like 50 chicken tenders. I'm like, oh my God. He goes, what? He goes, I'm assigned to you guys. I'm going to get you whatever you guys need. I'm like, so you're like our handler? I was like, I've heard stories about this. I would like to reorder. I just thought it was, because I thought he'd be like, this guy thinks he's somebody. I thought he was just going to walk away.
Test, all right, I'm going to send you for real dinner now.
Dude, I was like, we hit the big time. That was also the first. I looked down at the set list and I said, Freebird. I said, there's no way we're playing that. Good thing I didn't practice it. And the lead singer looks over. He goes, you ready? Well, we're playing your song. And I said, what song's that? He goes, Freebird. And I was like, hold on. And I was the only one in ears, but only I could hear my feed. So I clicked on mute and was trying to learn it. Like, I'm like, all I have to do is get that first line. And then the
right.
And I'm
like, smooth sailing, but man, if you miss that.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, no. And I was, dude, I thought it was a joke. He goes, why? It's on the set list. Why would you think it is a joke? I'm like, because it's Freebird. You really, you want me to solo for 14 minutes? I said, let's go. And then I think the sound guy was even kind of like, he's doing it. They're doing it because everybody was screaming.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do it, you gotta commit to the bit. I think the only person I've ever seen do that live in a long time is like Ward Davis.
Oh yeah,
used to do that. Like, and he'd act like it's a bit, then they'd be full send.
Oh really?
Like they'd actually pull it off.
That's awesome. That's cool.
There's like piano. He'd do a piano like solo intro. And
awesome.
I'm gonna go to something else. That's cool.
I love that guy. Every aspect of his online, his music, he's hilarious, and his song, like it's great. I really like that dude, and like his very very rarely do I laugh as hard as I do when I'm reading like a Word Dave status.
Oh yeah, his books are insane.
And there's always like this like legendary like folklore about him, and I never really like heard like the full story.
It's probably because of the Hayes, Kansas incident.
Exactly.
What happened in Hayes, Kansas?
He got arrested. Okay. The police station was across the street from the venue. They walked up to his van. He was smoking weed in the van. They just opened up the van and arrested him. That's the short version of the story. We were on stage. He was opening for us. So we get off stage and give him cups. And they made him get in the car and had to drive him around the back of the station. And pretty sure Cody walked into the front of the station, was already filling out the paperwork before they even got. That's. And then like, we can just walk over. No, we got to put him in the car.
Got to do that too.
And they'd say you should run for sheriff.
Yeah. I guess he's like the police are fans of his now because he's given so much grief that they met the sheriff and they made him look an honorary cop for a day or something.
Oh, that's
I can't remember exactly what it was, but that's fun. He like raised money for them or something.
Okay,
that's funny how he took that situation. I kind of did the same thing. It's funny, like I don't know how I got the job. There was like a fight at there was a you made it Dewey Beach. You ever been to Dewey Beach, Bill?
Dewey Beach. No, I don't think so.
Well, there's like 4 places to go, and
I've been to Rehoboth. I know for sure.
It's like right down there. And
okay,
what kind of foreign language are you guys speaking?
Delaware. Just Rehoboth Beach is where Dogfish had was at.
Yeah, our beach has waves, and I was working down there, and the guy asked me. He goes, "Hey, can you work the door at the club across the way?" And it was the more popular club. I'm like, "The door?" I'm like, I'm 180 pounds, dude. And I was like, "Listen, I'll do it if you get me a sweatshirt, so I can cover my arms. At least I'm tall." So, but it turns out it's the worst job in the whole venue. I have a clicker, and if I'm off by like a very small margin, they get a $10,000 fine. So a guy would check. I guess he was from the fire marshal. Would check my count and the other guy's count, and if it was off, like not only would I lose that job, I'd lose my other job because it was owned by the same enterprise. So I was taking it serious, and like this guy walked out, and they said, "Whoever walks out this door cannot come through this door." And this place is packed. It's the most popular bar in Dewey Beach. The guy walks behind the dumpster, goes to the bathroom, and he comes back. He wants to walk to the door. I said, nah, dude, you got to walk around. He says, no, I need to get back in there. I'm like, I don't care what you have to do. What you need to do is you need to go back around. You know, I was young. I needed the job. I needed the money. And he was like, no, you don't understand. If I don't get back in there, that place is going to go crazy. And I was like, yo, who are you? He goes, I'm the DJ. I said, sure. So am I. Go walk around. So I'm having an altercation with the guy. He goes, dude, this song's going to end and this place is going to end up in a riot. And I said, I don't care. Go around front. And if they know you as the DJ, they'll let you in the front. So now we're arguing. Here comes a bicycle cop. You know, he's like, I get to be a hero. They got this dude getting in handcuffs. The music stops. And here, boom, glass breaking. And I'm like, uh-oh.
No.
This dude's the DJ. They got his ID. They're like, apparently it's DJ's birthday too. So it's his birthday. And the other door opens up and they're like, where's the DJ? And I was like, he's trying on these bracelets. Like, they're like, you got the DJ arrested? I said, you told me not to let anybody in this door. And he goes, it's the DJ. Get in here. He gets in. He goes, sorry. He goes, he tells the story and he dedicates a song to me. And the song was like this rap song, like, F this dude. You know, people were coming out like with drinks of me. Like, oh, yeah, you know, get the DJ arrested, ruin our Saturday night. I'm like, man, you know.
Like, that's a great story, though.
The guy, it was his birthday. He was the DJ, and it was nuts. As soon as the music stopped, he wasn't lying. I was like, uh-oh, there's an angry mob in there. But he made them all angry at me. And, like, I'm the only guy with wearing the establishment's logo on the guy out front, you know. I probably had blonde bleach tips, too. You know, like, that Sugar Ray looking douche out front, you know. He tried to ruin your night. Get him. It was terrible.
That's
yeah. And then I was telling guys, like, so what if somebody else says something else? They're like, no, don't let them through the door. And I'm like, like, really? This is getting caught.
You're better than me. I'd have taken off that sweater and just gone home. Like, well, I'm fired from both jobs.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was like 19 at the time. And what really, like, I was living at the beach, so everything was expensive. But this guy kept a buffet for the workers like 24/7. So I had free food. So that was a thing. Like, all as much food as I could eat at any time. So it was like, man, if I lose this job, I'm gonna have to like go grocery shopping and it was like good food. It was like from the restaurant.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I remember like, you got the DJ arrested. I'm like, I didn't know anybody that worked there. I was like, dude, I'm an independent contractor. How was I supposed to know? You hired me for a job. It's funny.
Yeah, they don't have a 401k, but I do get a buffet.
Yeah. The fried chicken is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He put Lawry's on it. I would have ate trash back then because I
love some Lawry's.
Yeah. I've been trying to find a way to make vegetables taste better, and I got to the point where I put so much Lawry's on it, they're no longer healthy.
Right.
I'm just eating the seasoning.
Right. Well, you got plenty of vitamins and minerals, but your blood pressure is through the roof.
Yeah. Oh, it does help me drink a lot more water. Yeah, I feel like Jim Carrey with Me, Myself, and Irene. The Cottonmouth is incredible.
Oh man.
So yeah, Talbot was saying you guys are like hosting a show tonight too.
Oh yeah, there's a local songwriter competition going on. They've been hosting a bar called Tulips. It's me and Tim and another producer buddy of ours, Clint Kirby, are judging. Just trying to get some local talent to kind of drum up together. It's like all kinds of styles. We've had anything from like a couple weeks ago. There was just it was almost like a Linkin Park like hip hop meets acoustic guitar thing. we've had just like garage rock, lo-fi, indie, like ballad kind of stuff, straight up classic country, just like normal Americana songwriter, like all kinds. We're just really hyper focusing on songwriting quality. It's like you don't have to be a great performer, you don't have to be a good singer. It's like Leonard Cohen wrote amazing songs. He's a terrible fucking singer, in my opinion. Maybe not, but you know, it's really just trying to find and really have people embrace local songwriting, because there's a lot of local music and local musicians, tons of cover bands. You know, Bar X, like my Chick City band, we do Wednesdays like every week. You know, 90s country, because that's what the tourists want.
Yeah.
But you know, it's to really try to develop more, you know, original music around here again. I feel that it's been a bit lacking in Fort Worth over the past few years. The rock scene used to be huge. There was way more venues around here that were very open to booking local bands and just people that have a lot of a draw. We try to develop, you know, more culture around here. Bars like Lola's, Fat Bar Store. You know, Magnolia Motor Lounge is like one of the few that's still standing. Would book rock shows. You know, they've all kind of closed either because of COVID or afterward. So it seems to just, I feel like there's been a lack of original music.
Yeah.
It's really been like in the forefront of like within the city and within the musicians that I know. Like I try to think of like the last big guy that came out of Fort Worth was like Leon, you know, and like he got started the same way. He was playing the Grotto on open mic nights and like busking on the street. And we were all, you know, right out of college playing in rock bands and funk bands and just trying to figure shit out, you know. Yeah. And like the whole community came together to help make that first record. And like we saw what kind of stardom that everyone can achieve together. And it really just feels like, I don't feel like that sense of community has been in like to that degree and in the culmination of original music in quite a few years. It's like it's all been very Texas country centric, or like offshoots, or just very much like 90s country cover bands, you know, tourist track kind of shit.
Yeah, I've been to the songwriting competition a couple nights. The thing I like about it is that you don't have to be a gigging songwriter to sign up. So like we all know, you know, instrumentalists who like are playing in their bedroom that are 10 times better than 90% of people on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they don't have the opportunity or maybe the personality. Or,
they don't have the drive. They haven't gotten the accolade. The drive.
Yeah.
So or they don't even think they're good. I know a lot of people like that. When you're like, what?
What's that?
Sometimes people don't know that they're good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that, and so it's a cool opportunity to go out. I mean, if you're a songwriter, it's great to, you know, do your stuff in front of people.
Songwriters, write songs.
Yeah.
I haven't seen people co-writing.
Yeah. But I was taken back by like how much non-country stuff there was. I really liked that. It was, you know, people who clearly like weren't hitting the circuit, you know, all the time. They've just been crafting their songs.
But because there's nowhere to like, they're not going to go out in the stockyards and get a gig playing stuff. So like they just sit in their bedrooms, songs.
Now, is the contest based on judges or like crowd based?
Yeah, it's me, Tim, and Clint are the judges. We pick in the preliminary rounds. It's been like 8 slots a night, and we push 2 along to the semifinals. And so I think it's either this week or next week's the last preliminary. And we have, I think, 2 weeks of semifinals, or maybe 2 or 3, and then the final.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. What's the prize?
The prize is the 3 judges were pulling together and making an EP, or a couple tracks for the winner and a single for the second place.
Oh, that's that's awesome.
Like for free. So like we're all going to get together, and we kind of already internally divvied up like what our roles are going to be, because we're all as well as producers, were all like local musicians. You know, Tim's a great guitar player. I was playing for Shane Smith for how long?
Yeah.
Like I play keys and do other stuff, and Clint's a world class drummer, but tours a lot, and so we kind of are the house band as well as the producers. So we can kind of just do it as the three of us, and we've all got our own like respective studios as well. So we might drag them to my place for tracking certain things, drag them to one of the others for like a mix day, something like that.
Yeah, that's a sweet deal. Like,
yeah, it's really like it's great to like open doors and like meet new people that you wouldn't have met otherwise. I've like seen so many people I had no clue about, right? That are just phenomenally talented. Even some of the people that we didn't have songs, we can't choose everything. We've been in the back arguing a couple times about to see we're going to go on.
Yeah, dude, it's the one time I was in Nashville, we're having dinner with it was somebody from some label or something, and you know how like those business talks go with like label tells this that and this. We're like, all right, and they were like, hey, we want you to come out. We're scoping out this rock band. We just want you just come out and just tell us what you think about them. And it was like in the middle of nowhere, and our lead singer, like he is not afraid of anything. He walked into this venue first, and he walked out, and I said, what's going on? He goes, I don't want to be in there by myself. And I was like, why? He goes, this bar looks like every fight scene in every music video I've ever seen. And I was like, really? So I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, this place looks rough. And of course, our bass player, he goes, well, he's Canadian, but he's like, well, man, look how real this thing looks. And it is like a wolf, a real live wolf. Like it's a gigantic dog. It's just sitting on like a church pew that was up against the wall, just staring at the door. I didn't make eye contact with it. I just walked right by, and he swore he thought it was like a stuffed animal. I'm like, get your arm off that dog, man, because it was like, and we go in. It's in this like really weird bar, and there was this little stage, and I remember the bass player had the amp that goes to the ceiling.
Fridge.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna play that in this little room? And these guys, yeah, dude, these guys came out. And the lead singer, he comes out, they all wearing like dirty cardigans, you know what I mean? Like just like, hey man, you might have seen us clean your table up after you're done eating that PJ what was it like what's that? PF Chang's. Yeah, we're bus boys. And I was like, that's how you're gonna lead your set, dude? And he's like, 1, 2. And when I tell you, they were one of the best bands I've ever seen. I can't remember. And it had like a cool name. And I was just like, it like crushed my dreams at the same time. Like when you're in like a music city, if these guys can't play like the Broadway, the bigger venues, they're out in this like, I might get stabbed in this venue type thing. And it just was like, if they have to be looked at, like if these guys just couldn't be like, pen paper now, we love everything, because to this day, like I know the one guy, he still listens to him. He still it was like just like a wow. It was a really cool moment because but it, like I said, like I was like, oh man, it was like soul crushing for me because like all this talent and yeah, like I wanted to be a musician. My dad would always be like, shut up, Jimmy, go throw a baseball. He wanted me to play baseball, but like, I wanted to play guitar, and I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to play music. And, I had a buddy who was managing a band. The band, they had a song on like Need for Speed. They had a song on like a big Marvel. It was like one of the first Marvel movies out. So they had a record deal. They were huge in Europe. They were doing great. And I remember walking in, and he was one of my friends from high school. He was doing great. Band's doing great. They're signed. And I walked. It was like a 98-degree day, and I walked in the Banana Republic for some reason. And I'm like, the guy stacking pants has on like a turtleneck sweater with like the thumbs. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's 100 degrees out. And he turned around. I'm like, Dusty, what happened to the band? He goes, broke up, dude. Dream's over. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? And he was like, yeah, dude, it's done. We're done. And I'm like, just like that? He goes, yep, just like that. And I'm like, you're stacking pants now? Like, it was just like, how can you go from top of the, you know, just being over in Europe and whatnot? And it's just, it's funny. After 20 years, they had their reunion show at the Elkton Music Hall, and they sold it out twice.
Oh wow, nice.
But Dusty, he ended up. I mean, well, he's dead now, but he was working for Slash for a while, so he ended up doing pretty well in music. So he was like Alice Cooper. It's funny is I thought he was working with John Bon Jovi, but it turned out to be like some like WWE wrestler. I'm like, dude, that's John Bon Jovi. He's like, that looks like John Bon Jovi if he ate John Bon Jovi. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, that is a big dude. Because he's from around here, so I figured,
yeah.
It's funny. We one of the guys he recorded with, I remember, you find out this guy lives around where you are. So you find out where he lives, and you go to his house, and you ask him to cut a record. He's like, I don't wake up for less than $20,000. I was like, well, you didn't look at the car that just drove up to your driveway, did you? We pushed it halfway up. But yeah, it was funny. He was, you play the demo, and he's like, haven't you ever heard Don't Bore Us, Get Us to the Chorus? I'm like, have you ever heard? And I didn't stop until somebody said, shut up. I was like, see, you're bored. Like, get off my board. What do you think you are? I'm like, the guy tells the truth. I was like, oh my God, that's the longest intro ever. Yeah. Oh, good times. It's funny. It's like I wrote out all these questions. I haven't asked like a single one. I remember like Drew was the first one, and everyone's like, "What are you gonna ask him? What are you gonna ask him?" I was like, "Dude, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea."
Yeah, because you were just off the cuff on that one.
Yeah, that was the first time I actually like used the rig. I told the person I was with, if you see red on this meter, speak up. I got home, ran it through, all clipped. I had to use. I had to buy RX Doctor.
Oh, just to declip it,
and it fixed it. Yeah. The learning curve was I was just like, oh my God. I was like, there's no way. Like, that was like my first experience with like the Texas country and the red dirt was American Aquarium. And then the second one was you guys. And that was at a way bigger venue. And that, dude, I was like, that's the closest I've like ever been at a like I was second row. Like, I was like, dude, this is crazy. And then I just remember being like, there's no way this guy's going to come out. Yeah. I was like, there's.
Oh yeah. You just like hit me up on Instagram or something, right?
Yeah. I was like, there's 20,000 people here or whatever. It was a big venue. And like,
I had nothing better going on, man. Like,
I just laughed because you were like, I'll just hoof it there. I'm like, nah. I was like, I have a car. Everything's broken on it. Like, I remember like the glove box wouldn't stay closed. I was like, oh God.
But you never know when you don't know people, man. Every now and then there's a fan that just like goes overboard or something. I've had rarely, thank God, but I've had people like look at my address and come to my house. And, like, just to say hello because they were a fan.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hello, and hey, do you mind cutting my grass?
It was, I think the last time it happened was a couple years ago. It was on Easter.
On a holiday?
Yeah.
That's even it's the only day I can get off. Sorry, Drew.
Yeah, it was a little wild. I thankfully he didn't come back around too much.
Yeah.
Too much?
He came back one more time for an autograph.
Oh.
You know what's funny is people ask, they'd be like, how do you get to meet people in bands? And I always tell them, I said, even without like a big TikTok following, I was like, you can slide in their DMs. It was like a lot of times, like I'd be like, it's hard to travel when you have a tour bus, especially to like go to like a Guitar Center and whatnot. And I said, just slide in the guitar players' DMs. Be like, hey man, I'm going to Guitar Center. You need anything? I can't tell you how many times people are like, dude, lifesaver. Can you get us like drum heads?
Yeah, I mean, like before you're at a certain level of like touring, you know, it's a lot harder to get like food with catering or like having runners to be able to go to the store to get supplies. I mean, sometimes you're in a town that doesn't have such a.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You know?
That's been a lot of time, and I always tell people, I said, if you have one member of the band come out and talk to you, absolutely under no circumstance ask to meet somebody else of the band. Let them do it. You know, like if I was like, hey Drew, where's Cody? You know what I mean? Like,
I guess once heard that one before.
yeah. I wish more people knew about that one.
I'm like, dude, don't do it. Just be happy. I said, you're gonna have so much more fun with someone that took the time to want to talk to you first. And don't ever, you know, dude, we had a great conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I went to Mile Zero. I didn't know anybody.
Oh yeah, we ran into each other.
And there's
That's right.
Drew Harakal. And I don't know if I told you this, but in my mind, I'm like, Drew, I am your best friend until you introduce me to somebody else. I'm gonna stand by you. You know, and I can't remember. I don't know if I told you because I was like, man, I don't know anybody. And then that was also the same time I was like, that looks like somebody wearing Jamie Lynn Wilson's hat. And I went over and I was like, are you Jamie Lynn Wilson? She was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I recognize you by your hat. And I just remember being like, is Bill here? She was like, no, he's not here.
Oh man,
that's funny.
Yeah,
I love Jamie. She's the best.
Yeah, we just played the show with her for a couple months back. It was like her last one for a while.
It was her last full band show. We played with her a fair amount in the summer. But she's just doing like a couple sparse dates, which I'm doing Mile Zero Fest for the first time this year.
Yeah, he's never been.
I've never been.
Really?
Yeah, I've never been. And so I was like, Jamie, are you going to do Mile Zero? She was like, no, not this year. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, so. Dude, that was a lot. I feel like the first time you go down, it's a learning experience. Because
I feel like Key West is just that way in general. Not even the festival. Like it's just it's such a different thing. Like everything's so condensed and like pushed together. And, like there's so many people, you know. Yeah,
and there's a lot to do. I probably told you about. There was these guys. They were with their wives, and they were saying, they were like, yeah, it was Jamie Lynn Wilson and Courtney Patton playing acoustic. And the guy happened to goes, yeah, Jamie Lynn Wilson, she's my hall pass. And I'm standing next to Adam Hood. We're talking to Adam Hood, and they're like laughing. They're like Jamie Lynn Wilson would ever give you the time of day, blah, blah, blah. And they're going back and forth. It's funny. Jamie runs over and goes, can you delete all the videos you took last night? And I'm like, what? You know, she goes, just delete. And I was like, can I keep this picture? And, you know, we took a selfie together, and she was like, okay. She goes, I was so drunk. I was like, everybody was so drunk. You know, it's fine. I was like, dude, I'm not TMZ. I'm not walking around like, ooh, I got you having fun. Right, you know what I mean? I'm scared of that too. So she runs off, and this guy looks over at me. He goes, who the hell are you? I was like, I don't know. Don't worry. I won't tell her anything you just said.
You got immediate street cred from those dudes.
Yeah, you were his ticket in.
Yeah. You want to introduce me or what?
I was like, you could have said hi. I was like, he just was like, what? Right after, you know, him and his wife having fun. But yeah, it was everybody, you go back to the karaoke bar and you do everything in excess. And
watch Tom's last.
Oh yeah,
dude.
I love Tom. Yeah.
Oh,
I
he's
didn't know.
judging tonight too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Am I judging?
Yeah, if you want to.
Tim Lightyear was like, you got to check out this dude.
Tom.
And I was like, okay. And I'm looking at his picture. I'm like, that's the guy who was crushing karaoke in Key West.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like, how can you miss that hair? Because when he was the same with the hair, I'm like, wouldn't that, nah. And yeah, that was cool. Because I remember asking, who's that guy? And they're like, they probably said his name.
Tom's a great songwriter. He's actually filling in for Clint tonight at the songwriting competition as the judge.
Okay. I was like, oh, he plays drums too. But dude, yeah. Miles here is all you'll have a great time.
I'm excited. I'll have a great time if I don't end up with 3rd-degree sunburn. So
my first time in Key West, I got sun poisoning.
Yeah, no, I've gotten sun poisoning plenty. So I'm gonna bring all the SPF. Yeah, all of it. I'm going to Costco. I'm gonna ship some buckets down there, just bathing. I'm knocking out for that.
The pictures I have, I'm like lobster red too.
So like when you're on stage, do people play in shorts? Or do people still wear shorts?
Oh yeah, totally. I play in shorts.
Okay, I'm excited about that.
I don't know if it was like frowned upon. I did. So
I'm okay if it's frowned upon. I just hard no. Like I would never show up to like a gig. Yeah. In jeans. I mean, like
it is also like
show up in jeans, but
February, January.
It's January.
Yeah. So it's like it gets chilly. Like 50s.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's cold when the iguanas start falling out of the trees, frozen, because like below a certain, they just fall.
Wow.
And they say to dispose of them humanely.
Are they dead when they fall out of the tree, or are they just like taking a little nap?
They're like, like I guess they go into like hibernation.
Yeah,
they're warm blooded, but they're like they're everywhere. And they got the roosters and the wild chickens or whatever.
Oh, the chickens in the street. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they just walk around. You're not allowed to follow.
Are you going this year?
I no one's asked me yet.
Dude, yeah, don't mess with the chickens. But they like every bike has a basket that could fit a chicken in it. It's like it's entrapment. I'm like, if you don't want me to steal a chicken, why
you shouldn't give me this convenient poultry-sized basket?
They look delicious, and I'm like, I like your cereal, but like, they walk in and out of the bar. It's just weird.
I'm excited now.
Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, it was like everybody I knew that was going to be going down there, Bill and Lance Rourke, they all didn't show up, and I was just kind of like, that was also the first time, like before I thought I was going out by myself, which I was. So I was like, man, I'm just, I'm going to have like, I think I had like 10 Millers. I was like, man, what am I doing? I'm just going to go in town. And there was like people like, hey, you're that guy. I'm like, oh no. And they're like, what do you drink? And I'm like, oh. Next thing you know, like I'm laying on the floor of a taxi with Midnight River Choir. Like, like there's seats, man. Sit on the seat. I'm like,
there's no better people to Sherpa you up Hammered Mountain. Midnight River Choir, Midnight River Choir boys. Like, they'll get you through it. Whatever your deal.
They've gotten through everything.
They've all been there,
What's
exploding hotels.
Like I like to think, exploding hotels. Like I like to think if I hit like, a new level of fucked upness, that like an angel Bob Driver just comes down, and just like takes my hand and just like
leads the way.
He's got
Let me show you
the Hunter S. Thompson.
Yes.
But yeah, and it's funny is Jeremy Noble was there. I don't know if you know Jeremy, but he hat, long hair, beard, and Talbot gave me a picture. He says, "You got to meet this guy. He's a legend." It was a picture of Rio Tripiano, and I walked up to Jeremy and I said, "Hey, are you Rio Tripiano?" He goes, "No, sir, I'm not. I'm also not Ward Davis. I'm also not Cody Jenks. Also, I'm not Chris Stapleton." I said, "You do look like all these people, though." And I remember, Jay Drew, does this guy look like Ward Davis? You're like, yeah. He was funny about it. And he like, Uncle Becca, you get the hat. He goes, I assure you I am not. And he had all the names.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
But I ended up, I found Rio, and I'm like, yeah. And he goes, hey, you like the Copper Chiefs? And I was like, yeah. Yeah. I was like, that's one of the first guys I heard. And was like, hell yeah. And I'm like, why? He goes, that was a good answer. I was like, oh, you're in the band, aren't you? You got me. I said, people have done that.
The name of that band.
I know. They were so good.
So long.
Dude, that Ain't Living Long Like This, that version, it's good. And what is it? Rattlesnake Boots, or I think Jared Flushy wrote that.
Oh, okay.
I think he did. I don't know, or that might have been a Dolly Shine song. I don't know. It's that's another layer of the onion of, when Drew tells you, like, he's on this, that, and this, and then you go to find out there's people that are like on everything, like Drew, and like.
Dude, Flushy's been in so many bands over the years.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
sure.
It's funny. Is somebody on like one of the forums was like, man, I really like that guy's style. He sounds like Co. I'm like, he played with Co.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, makes sense, right?
And then, I'm like, and he played with Shane, and he played, and it's crazy. Like, like they're big names, and every time I see them,
to me, it's impressive. Like a guy like Jared and Drew the same way. You can see them in different projects, and they have a distinctive enough style that, like, they put their flavor on everything. But it's not like they just do their thing. It's fun to watch them with different projects.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they
get to flex different muscles.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I like playing with different projects like that. Like the 38s are much different than American Accordion. Yeah, but I love them both. Same thing with Mickey and the Motorcars. It's a much different band than playing with Jamie Lynn Wilson.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why when they started in Still,
right?
It's because we didn't really get that outlet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, that song "Close the Bets." I thought that was like one of the best songs of the year.
Is that the first single?
That's so. Okay. Somehow this slipped. No, Drew almost played on it.
I
really
keys for that song. I never got put on there.
I'll send you the video. Yeah, he sent me a video of him.
I one taked it the entire tape. It was like, I think I did like 20 takes before I got it, but I wanted to do it in one take. Dude, I was up to like 4 in the morning.
It's so good, and like ultimately, I don't remember what it was. Was it was like we got it too late? We'd already gotten it mixed.
Yeah, because it was already pushed to radio.
Right. But like, so I mean, that whole song is just like a shred fest.
Oh yeah,
and I love it. Like, I love that song. I love playing it. It's awesome. And Drew came in and fucking killed it. And I still have the video. I have the audio track of him playing.
I was talking to Haystack.
Yeah, I wish that had. Man, I hope we re-release that record and have that as like, cool. Like a B-side.
It's a great.
Yeah, like record. Drew even played on that shit that didn't even come out.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly, like a lot of projects that I want, I'll overtrack. Especially if I'm like doing it for myself, like at my own place by myself. You throw paint at the wall and let them pick what they want.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about his studio and all the shit. Like, what you also have to see is you have to go in his house and see all the records on his wall of records that he's played on. That, like, even me, like, Yeah,
you've had a couple on the wall that you've been doing that now. Like,
yeah. Here?
Well, yeah.
Here I got a fair amount, but mine are all like 2 bands. Like,
well,
you're still like
fucking jinx.
But there's still a lot of vinyl records that I'm like, oh, you played on that? Oh, you played on that? Oh, you played on that?
Yeah. It's easier just to say, what didn't you?
What's that?
It's just, what didn't you play on?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All your favorite records. That's the answer. He played on all your favorite records.
Yeah, well, not all of them, just
most of them.
Yeah, I remember seeing that he was putting the 38s on the back burner, and dude, I thought that album was fantastic, and especially like that song. I love that song. I practiced to it all the time.
It's nuts.
Dude, that whole record is I love, and there's nothing about it I didn't love. Like, I love playing with those people. I I love recording it.
You guys had a great group, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like, even like all the different drummers that come through, every single one of them was solid.
No, it was absolutely awesome. And it literally like just a total joy. And, you know, I mean, Kyle's one of my best friends. I love that dude. Take a bullet for that dude. And it was just great to be, you know, a part of that. But then, you know, we had started that when Turnpike was not together.
Yeah.
And then
no one really saw that coming, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we knew.
Well, everyone wanted it, but no one ever thought it would actually happen.
Right. I mean, there was just like, well, we'd already started work on the project, like, so, you know, we're going to do it. And it's art. You're like, Kyle needed to get it out there. And it's a wonderful record and much different from his first outing. And so we were pumped about it. But then, like, Turnpike, I think initially maybe wasn't going to be playing as much as they were. But there's just such a demand that, you know, we have the same management and booking and everything. Well, maybe like loosely management, but booking for sure. And if you can book Turnpike Troubadours versus the 38s, like, you should book Turnpike. You know what I mean? And so, like, we would get booked like maybe 6 weeks out. And at that point, either, you know, I'd be playing with the Motor Cars or, you know, Adam would be playing with Caitlin. You know, everybody was just kind of, and I think at that point, Tug was playing with maybe the Stragglers. So everybody was kind of in other projects because we weren't playing enough to stay
Fully busy, yeah.
Super busy. And one of the things was, like, we were a band. Like, we enjoyed each other's company. Like, I love those guys, like, and girl, and all of them. Like,
it seems you guys were really hatching out together. It wasn't just like he wrote it and you guys played it.
No, and there was nobody was ever told, like, what to play or that's not enough. Like, I think Kyle was really wonderful and, you know, trust your instincts, do what you like. He picked the players that he wanted to do what he knew what the influences were coming through. Yeah. And, you know, doing a record with Gabe on drums is just, you know, we tracked those parts together and that was just a total joy and completely easy. But yeah, it's one of those things where it just ended up being more difficult to sustain. Yeah. Really. You know, I mean, Kyle was so busy.
I'm sure.
I hope so. I would love that. To where, you know, it's just like when things slow down, you know, maybe we can go back and revisit because I still want to do After the Flood Part 2.
I want to play on a record with you guys.
Dude, I want to play. Have you play live? There was one time.
Almost like Green Paul all the time. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, Adam Duran couldn't make a show, and I was like, well, look, like nobody plays guitar like Adam Duran. All right, you're familiar with Adam, right? Mm-hmm. You should have him on the podcast because he's
a monster, dude.
A monster guitar player, but also just such a wonderful guy. Like he's hysterical and so much fun to talk to, and just really, really great. But like nobody plays guitar like him. You know, there are guys who can play the part, but it's when Adam's playing. It's like, you know, it's like Eddie Van Halen. You know, he could give his guitar, not change a single thing on it, give it to any other guitar player. Yeah. He could give it to fucking Eric Johnson. Yeah. And it's still not going to sound like Eddie Van Halen. Yeah. And I feel like Adam is one of those players. And so it was like, well, in lieu of that, like, Drew's a badass player. Like, what we need is not somebody to copy those parts note for note. Like the signature lick.
It's reinterpreting.
Right, just reinterpret it. Like, shred key solos. Like, there's nothing that says, like, it has to be exactly like the recording. And we've had many a conversation about that.
Oh, sure.
You know, it's how we're going to interpret it live that night.
Yeah, well, it's like the whole definition, without getting too deep into it, like the definition of what a record is it's a record of a moment in time and how something sounded. You know, it's not meant to be like, this is how it needs to be forever. This is not like a statement or like a declaration of like, this is it. It's just a point in time where something sounded the way it did. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know why more songwriters don't, like, as they age and start hating their songs, maybe like write some of the lyrics that they feel or like they feel good something.
It's your song.
You know, 100%.
Like, songs are ever evolving. Like, you don't ever go see an artist that plays that song the exact same way 25 years later. you know, like it's gonna be the same song, but like the Eagles don't perform it the exact same they did back in the 70s, you know?
Yeah. And I actually prefer it. That's why I loved Hendrix so much. He never played anything the same. And and sometimes you go to the band and you're like, I could have just stayed home and listened to the record, and I hate that. You know,
exactly.
like
Yeah, that was the magic of like Prince, you know? Like
yeah, if you're feeling a song and you look over and your other guy goes, let's go a couple more bars. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dude.
And being in the audience and you're watching like people like doing that, like loving being where they're at, you know, it's definitely an energy you can feel. And like you said, like it's also refreshing to hear something different and be like, oh, I like that better. And it's like, and if they don't like that, like I never understood, like re-record it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people like,
who says you can't record a song twice?
Yeah.
That was like one of the things with like the 38s, like that, not the re-recording it, but like just playing it differently live, you know?
Yeah. Adapt to what's needed.
Yeah. If somebody was killing one solo section, like drag it out, you know?
Fucking right.
We all were listening. I actually like,
it was so much more like the jazz musician mentality. Like,
yes.
Like it's like the shit, how it used to be.
Yeah. That's actually why I liked playing stage right.
Yeah.
Oddly enough. So like I have my Les Paul bass, right? And the way it's weighted, it plays best like off my right hip. So if I'm stage left, which is traditional for a bass player, I feel like I'm turning my back on the crowd because I don't want to watch the crowd. I want to make eye contact with the players because I want to respond to stuff in real time. So I like to be stage right. With the motor cars, it's, you know, I think they've always had a stage left bass player, but with the 38s, I was like, no, I want to be stage right because then like my bass faces out to the crowd, which just makes me feel better. Like I'm not turning my back.
Yeah, still pay attention.
Yes. Yeah, but like we're locked in. In fact, and there were sometimes that did not work in my favor. I would mess up because Haystack would do something that was just so awesome that it would make me chuckle, and then I'd like lose my spot. I'd be like, oh shit, drop that beat, you know. He would always try to get me with. There was this one banjo fill, and he would always just try to make it like more and more ridiculous, just to like.
Oh, I heard of it.
Yeah, just to throw me off, just to like watch me like
support notes more intense.
I just love it. Like I loved it, and it, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I love the 38s. I missed that band. They were fantastic.
Yeah. They were still are a great band.
Oh yeah, but yeah, some of the pretty much everybody in that band was so good.
And I mean, it would cool things too.
Oh yeah, no, everybody's doing great.
Like Ken's been like popping off recently.
Oh, Ken is killing it. Ken is absolutely killing it. I mean, and to her credit, like she's been chasing American Aquarium's tour bus for a while.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
like that's
tough.
Chasing a tour bus, not fun.
Yeah.
But it can. I mean, the moment you see Ken Pomeroy and hear her voice.
Dude, I discovered her through Instagram years ago, man. She had me in tears with the song. That was just like, you know, just another song to her, I'm sure.
Oh,
but like, she's great.
I saw her play with Chris Jones, and she was amazing. And then we always knew she was amazing. I knew she was a great songwriter, and I loved a lot of her songs. But then I think it was the first show she did with the 38s, and she was going to do a couple of acoustic songs, and me and Gabe Pearson, the drummer for the 38s, we went out through and went to the back of the theater to listen to her songs. And keep in mind, I think she was like 20 at the time. Like she wasn't even 20.
Yeah, no, she was young. She
was 20 years old, and she was like, I wrote this song about, you know, how I perceive Joan Baez's relationship with Bob Dylan.
Right.
And it was not flattering for Bob Dylan. And it was just such an amazing song and just such a like heavy topic and so well written.
Well, like very intellectual, like high brain, and then also
I was like, most people her age would be writing about something so not even just so superficial.
Whatever.
Yeah. Like or like trying to write about something deep and thinking it's deep and it's not that deep. Like her, Gabe and I like sat there and we were just like, well, she's a star. She just doesn't know it. You know? So there is all the wonderful success she's had is just a drop in the bucket. Like there's just more of that that's going to be heaped on her. And like, I mean,
she keeps handling, man. Like she got those songs in that movie. Was it Twisters?
Yeah, Twisters.
Yeah, she's been doing. Every time I see her pop up, it's like
she got signed to what was it, Rounders Records?
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, she got signed to that record label. Yeah, she's just fucking. She's crushing.
She's killing.
She's killing it. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you guys need to wrap it up?
I should tell.
It's almost 7.
Yeah,
sure do.
Yeah. Steve sent me a message. He was like, "Hey, you might wanna," and I looked down. I'm like, "Oh, what's almost been 2 hours?"
Yeah, that flew by.
Yeah.
But yeah,
gig shout outs real fast. We're playing on Saturday. Come see us with Vince Dill if you're in Fort Worth.
Yep.
At Magnolia Motor Lounge.
And then if you're in Austin, I'm playing with Dustin Schaefer on Thursday night at the Saxon Pub. He's releasing a single called Azalea Drive. And so we're at Saxon Pub at 10 o'clock.
Saxon Pub, 10 o'clock. I got to text him.
Yeah, text him, dude.
I got to get him on the podcast before that song comes out.
Yeah. Well, you only got a couple days, buddy.
I know. And it's weird. I still, it's like, it was like when I still get like fangirl, you know, like when Cody Canada was like, "Hey man, what's your number? I'm gonna text you." I was like,
well, Dustin's a dreamboat, so everybody gets like that when you get his number. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, he's
you are my sunshine. Yeah, he's great. I'll be fine. I already talked to him, but yeah, dude, thank you guys for doing this and being together. I like to see, because it's funny, like when I heard the 38s and I heard the thing with Drew, like it's fun. Like I care, you know what I mean? I see you guys, friend, and I was like, "Is Bill gonna be okay?" I was like, "Is Drew gonna be okay?" Like, you know, like I just want to make sure you guys are good and happy, and you know, I don't ever want to see. I've seen a couple of people go back to a day job, and it's like that's what I don't want to see or hear, you know what I mean? So I'm glad to see.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes a job's a job, though, man. You know, you gotta make money to get by. You know, sometimes it's better to make the right decision artistically or, you know, fulfilling musically than it is to like necessarily live off music at all times.
Yeah, dude. And I miss getting a job knowing I can just do whatever I want and just get fired. I miss that. I miss that power. I'm like, you're going to fire me? I'm going to go get unemployment. Ha ha. And some people don't want to fire you because of that. And you can, you can run the place until it's like, all right.
No, so I actually have a day gig. Like I have,
he does.
But my boss is wonderful, and my assistant is even more wonderful, and that allows me a lot of schedule freedom, you know, to go and do a lot of this stuff. But also that puts me financially in a decision where like I don't have to play with anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is actually probably
it's freedom. Like, freedom.
I don't have to take a gig I don't want to do because honestly, I think that would ruin it for me. It's like it is either a hell yes or a hell no. Like I'm either down to do it or I don't. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. I've worked like touring in this career for so long that I've had to turn down so many opportunities because like that was my job and it made me not available. Yeah. You know, like just like I remember years ago, Whiskey Myers Small didn't play with them. Yeah. Or like, you know, just other, you know, big other bands are like, "Hey, come on tour with us." It's like, I can't. Like, I'm already committed to this, you know. And it's like whether it's, you know, not to say that the original gig wasn't fulfilling. But it's like sometimes you want to go play with other people. Sometimes you want to like spread your wings and like hang out with somebody else, not the same 6 dudes over and over and over every fucking day.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, as a musician, like you have a very clear, like when you're young and you start. I don't know if you can hear my shitty ass dogs. They're angels from heaven. Let me tell you. But they shut up, boys. So you have a very clear vision of what you want for your career, right? But then at some point, you kind of have to figure out.
You realize you're wrong the entire time.
Yeah, you're wrong the entire time, and like it's all just going to kind of work out. You
Yeah.
don't really have control over what opportunities, and there's no point in beating yourself up over like, oh, well, I had to pass on this because of this. Because if you hang in there long enough, there's a kind of a small pool of people available who do it, who like, do people want to be in the tour bus with you? Do people want to be on stage with you?
Yeah.
Do you musically get it? Are you hard to work with? Are you creative?
Do you even want to do it?
And you're right, and vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, you think like, oh, I'm good. You have this imagined trajectory for yourself in your career. And then you kind of realize like, I have a lot less control over that, but I can capitalize on like, I've known the motor cars for fucking years. I never thought I'd be playing with the motor cars.
Yeah.
And I also never thought I would enjoy it as much as I do. Like I love playing with those guys. They're fantastic. They're really great people. And, it's a fun crew. And like, I never once, and if I ever get to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm dreading this gig, like then it's time for me to quit. Like so that's the sort of thing. Like you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
And you have much less control than you want to admit.
I was going to say, like, I spent so many years of my life always saying yes to literally everything. And I realized, like, later in life, that helped me build up, like, maybe a better player, met more people.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I think I've had way more opportunity after I started saying
no.
Yeah. I got better opportunities. And, it, like, not as often, obviously, but, like the things that really were more fulfilling started coming back because I wasn't so busy just doing anything.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry I gotta pass on that gig, but I'm opening for a puppet show at 2 p.m.
Right.
So I wouldn't be able to make sound check.
Well, for example, we're playing still set. I was like, I had to tell Josh Weathers now.
Yeah, it's like,
it's like, do I want to play with him? Yeah, but
of course, yeah. I actually told Josh Weathers. His TM had hit me up about filling in for him. But I was playing with motor cars. I think it was Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah,
and this was like Monday, and they were like, "We might need a sub on Friday." And I was so busy that I actually I knew I wouldn't have enough time to do the band justice to like learn the material.
Even though he wanted to do the gig.
I would have loved to have done the gig. Like, I mean, Josh is an amazing.
Oh,
dude.
he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm still playing with him.
Well, I may take a ride to the removals on Friday, but it would have been a fun gig to do. But like, I'm not going to get up there and embarrass myself. Now, if they call day of and they're like, it's an emergency scenario,
you go do what you can.
You go do what you can, but like, I'm not.
That was me with him on LJT.
Yeah, I have a day gig, so it's not like I can spend Monday through Thursday learning his set.
Yeah,
and honestly, I had a busy ass week at work. Like I was like, I'm not going to have any time. So, it's just like the sacrifices you make. It's just like no one gig is going to make or break your career.
No.
Yeah.
So
true.
But if you do something really unprofessionally, then yeah.
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 It's true. But thank you guys for coming on.
Sure, man.
No, thank you for having us.
Oh, I guess last minute shout outs. Songwriter night on Mondays in Fort Worth at Tulips. If you're a songwriter, come out, meet some people. I think we still have a couple slots to fill out the last night if you guys want to. Wednesdays at White Elephant in the Stockyards, my band Chixie Dicks. Maybe you'll see Patrick there.
I've seen you guys, right? Was that Chixie Dicks or it was
Chixie Dicks on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
We've been doing it like 4 years.
And
White
Elephant. It's 90s country.
And every night till the end of time.
Yeah. It's kind of like indentured servitude, but like it's great.
Indentured servitude. That's funny.
Just like
something like that. Oh.
But yeah.
Oh man.
I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
Go stream my songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
His album. When's your first single coming?
I put a couple singles out last year.
Where can they follow you on
Spotify, Instagram, Facebook? I think I have a Facebook page. I don't know.
You should know that.
I have a TikTok. I don't really get on it, but
Yeah.
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah. Woolly beard, right?
Woolly beard. Yeah.
Woolly beard.
Yeah. Old gamer tag. I'm touring a bunch next year, so come out and see me all over, like for War Davis.
Just with a bunch of bands, or
No,
solo. I'm going to be in North Carolina with War Davis in February.
Solo stuff.
Yeah.
At the Bird's Nest.
Yes.
Man, that's
I think they just announced the fourth night.
Okay. Yeah, I've been there before. That's a cool listening room.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going there. I haven't been.
Yeah, it's like the town is church,
Done.
funeral home, church, funeral home, and Mexican restaurant, and more funeral homes. It was like not a lot to do there, but it's a cool room, and they have like.
Well, it fits the vibe. I play a bunch of sad music, so.
Oh yeah.
The funeral homes will be when everybody goes home and kills themselves.
Hey, just trying to bring money,
stimulate the economy. This guy, what a fucking angel.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You can hear a pin drop in that place. They're there for you. So that is a cool room, and the people that run it, they pick great artists. And I just wish it was a little closer. That's all.
How far is that from you?
Oh man, I went to I drove to Richmond, then drove down. So it might be like
probably 3 or 4 hours from Richmond, right?
Yeah, so 7-8 hours.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, so it's
so like halfway across Texas.
Yeah.
It's funny. So talking to some people, they blows their mind when I tell them like I can drive through 3 states in 10 minutes here. Granted, they all meet together, but they're like, what?
I'm from South Jersey. I know.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah. But people from Texas are like, you can go to another state? Like
you're in Delaware for like 30 seconds before you hit Maryland.
Yeah. Very true. But all right.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, man, this is
anytime.
fun.
Anytime,
man. Get to like double team you,
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a wobbly H.
You play that guitar, they don't do nothing. Okay, guys, I'll see you.
Bye.
See ya.
Wobbly age. I don't know. Oh, I guess after we're supposed to leave this on.
Two
right?
40-year-old men trying to.
Well, like Telma said something about like it has
This
to
picture's talking to me.
right?
Man, I don't understand this. There's a leave button. I would like to leave this right now. No, that left me somewhere else. Hold on. Okay, no camera.
No.
God damn it! I'm just turning it off. I'm turning it off.
I just lift things up and put them down.
I don't know. Do we have to hit leave? Is that what we're supposed to do?
Dear God.
I'm leaving it.
Studio. Yeah.